Nope, no, we're not. Okay. Got a red light. Does red mean I'm on or off?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so like with the stall practice where if we do it slow enough, rather than try to go real fast and get that clean brake that everybody's looking for, that clean brake ain't teaching anything about landing. And we're stalling at VSO, which has nothing to do with landing. We're much less than VSO in ground effect. VSO is an out of ground effect. But anyway, if we go slow on our stall practice, we will get the sink, we'll get the mush before the stall, significantly. In a Cherokee, you might come all the way down in a mush. It might not want to stall because it's built by Fred Week, who built the air coupe that wouldn't stall. But anyway, another story. We do want to get that pitch up and with full flaps and get that sink going so that we can bring the throttle into dynamic play as a control. I've got that written down somewhere. Full flaps, pitch with that reduced airspeed and get mush sink, requiring throttle to manage glide angle and rate of descent perfectly, accurately, even in gusts. Balloon, more throttle. Sink, more throttle. I'm sorry, balloon, less throttle. Reduce throttle if you're ballooning, and add throttle if you're sinking. And if you're in real serious gust spread, you may have to go in a sink. You may have to go full throttle, then adjust. Or in a balloon, you may have to cut throttle to the stop, bring it all the way back, and then adjust. But those are, that's rough kind of flying, pipeline patrol or something where you go all day long in the wind, regardless of what the wind is. Anyway, when you're flying cross country, look down and notice things on the ground. Hills and trees and ponds and, tanks in West Texas. How do they seem to approach you? What is the closure rate? It's a brisk walk, or it looks like a rather slow closure rate. Doesn't look like you're going real fast. It's because of that distance that it just looks that way, and that's the way it'll look out there at 1.3 on your final approach. Before you get up here and start decelerating, it's a brisk walk. And say you're coming to an intersection, you're in your automobile, you're doing the same thing, you're looking way down there to the stop sign, and it appears that it's coming at you at a brisk walk. And as you get closer, what happens? It appears to speed up. You're going the same speed. You're still going 60. Now it's appearing to speed up a little bit. And so you let up on the accelerator. And now you don't go to your instruments, you don't go to your ground speed indicator to decelerate into that intersection. You watch that stuff at the intersection, that stop sign and the other cars that are waiting and things like that. And you make that apparent rate of closure stay at a brisk walk. You slow down, decelerate, such that it doesn't speed up. You don't allow it to speed up. You get really close and it's speedy like that. It's like, we're gonna die. Well, it should be like that in an airplane too, because loss of control is killing too many people, because that's what's happening. They're landing as if they're just gonna blow through that intersection. We don't need to blow through that intersection. We don't want to stall on short final, but we don't need to blow through the intersection. And we've got some reasons why we don't stall on short final. We anticipate somewhere out there between 1/4 and 1/8 of a mile. We anticipate we're already in our mush, we're already in our sink, and we already got that under control with throttle. But now we're watching and anticipating that, like in our car, we know that it's going to happen. It's going to speed up, and when it does start to speed up, or just before it starts to speed up, once we get enough iterations to know where that's going to be, we use the elevator to decelerate further. and keep it at what appears to be a brisk walk all the way down. We're managing our speed with elevator. We're managing our glide angle right to the spot with throttle, dynamic throttle. Now rather than arriving at the fence at 1.3 VSO, impossible that we're going to ever touch down on the numbers now. We're going to blow right past that intersection. We're arriving at the fence. We don't want to do that. We're not at 1.3. We're decelerating below 1.3 and below even VSO coming into ground effect. But that regular round out and hold off is part of the problem with loss of control. It was the better method when we had those bad carburetors, or the easier method for instructors to teach without getting heartburn. And the experienced pilot went away from it right away to the stall down approach when he got some experience. And we got a throttle now, and we got a Marvel Schriegler carburetor. We can use that throttle as aggressively as we want to, and it works just fine. And so we're arriving at the numbers like Wolfgang did in 3-point attitude, all slowed up and ready to squat, and that's what we want. We don't. Why didn't we stall on very short final? Because we were coming into ground effect, and VSO is no longer applicable, even though we may be at VSO or better with the headwind. The wing doesn't care. It's just going by the relative wind. The relative wind in a headwind is still flying us. We're going to have a hard time in tailwheel airplanes, maybe even taxiing in a big wind, because the wing keeps trying to fly even though we're stopped. But so even without a wind, the VSO is not a problem, because we're coming into high ground effect, medium ground effect, low ground effect, and each level of ground effect increases the pressure under the wing and increases our ability to decelerate without stalling. And it was what makes us able to do what Wolfgang was talking about. Even if we round out and hold off, we will have to get below VSO in order to land somewhere well down the runway in a long hold off. Once we have rounded out and closed that throttle, that dynamic throttle that I had back there if I were decelerating, once we've closed that thing, it's no longer dynamic, it's no longer a control. It's just sitting there. And now we are a passenger. We sit there as a passenger until the airplane decides to come down. No wonder there's loss of control. Guy's sitting there wondering what to do now for a while until the airplane comes down. Not in control. He should be still walking the rudder to keep the center line between his legs, but he's not in control of glide angle or rate of descent. He's got the elevator to control both, but the elevator is intended to control speed, not descent, because if you use it when you're slow, it'll make you go down. If you pull back when you're slow, it'll make you go down, and if you pull back when you're fast, it'll make you go up. And so it's working one way for a while, and then it works the other way, and that's confusing to students. We're confusing students when we round out and hold off. So Wolfgang and stick and rudder, and I'll quote the whole thing: the stall down landing requires that you